All right, students, and this is the final of my first of my three final essays. All right, let's get started. And here is the title, just doing one. The administration has asked me to try to make sure my grades get in a little bit earlier, and so I tell people all the time the easiest way to get through life if you have a boss is do what you're told. I mean, unless they're telling you to do something immoral, unethical, they want me to help you out. And so I've decided I'm gonna do all three of these, release them today, and try to make them short and sweet. Okay. All right. So what I did here is I put all four graphs here. So you can take a picture with your phone or whatever. And here they are. And so, of course, I don't have the PPF here. But if you need to refer to one of these, it's right here in the video. You can go back. All right. So go ahead on your paper and set this up right and leave spaces if you see that you're going to have to be graphing. Leave a space. Okay. And so you can pause it if you need to do that. Also, I would like for you to try to do this before I go over the answers. Because one reason, or the main reason I'm doing this, is I want you to know I expect you to go study for government and lit and physics, calculus, whatever you have, psych, art history, and whichever classes you have, and come back to this that second week. And I want you to know that there's going to be problems that I put up that I have answers for. So anyway, all right, so I'd like for you to try it and then go through my explanation. All right, so let's get started here. 1A says, assume the United States is in long run equilibrium, means it's not a recession or inflationary gap, with an expected inflation rate of 6% and an unemployment rate of 5%. The nominal interest rate is 8%. Okay, so go ahead and draw the long and short run Phillips curve graph. It's on that last slide, and plug in these numbers. Okay, the inflation rate, the unemployment rate. When it says expected inflation rate, that's what the people expect. And pretty much what that means is, I don't really know how to explain this. I never ever really believed this. If people in this economy think the inflation rate is going to be 6%, it will be 6%. Again, when economists get into psychology, I'm not sure how that's going to work out. It says, okay, so graph that. All right. B, calculate the real interest rate in the long run equilibrium. Well, the nominal interest rate is 8%. The inflation rate is 6%. So the real interest rate is going to be 8 minus 6, 2%. Okay, C, assume now that the Federal Reserve decides to target an inflation rate of 3%. So inflation is currently 6%, and they want it to be 3%. So they want it to go down. So are they going to do expansionary policy or contractionary? They're going to do contractionary. Now remember, on this exam, if you print out the study guide I give you, you're going to have pretty much everything in there. I intend to put on the cover sheet what page number everything is on. And so when you see something you don't know the answer to, you can go right there to it and do it. I'm going to try to put everything on there. I, of course, won't get 100%, but I'll get 90%. And here's the other thing. If you go ahead and do it on your own without looking at my notes, and then you get done 10 minutes early, you can still go back and check. Okay. So again, some of you think I'm, overbearing, I guess. I prefer it to be considered conscientious, but it's a free country. Think what you like. I want my students prepared. I've told you repeatedly, as long as I'm healthy and I'm here, you will be prepared for this exam. And if you're not, it won't be because of anything that I did. All right, so they want to go from 6% to 3%, so they're going to have to contract the economy. So it would be tempting just to say raise the reserve ratio, but look at the second part. What open market operation should the Federal Reserve undertake? What I like about this is there's no explain. So that's the buying or selling of T-bills. They don't generally call them that. They would say buy bonds or buy government bonds or sell government bonds. And so if they want to slow the economy down, they want the interest rate to go up. So what do? You have less money in the system. So there's less money, the interest rate will go up, and so they want them to sell T-bills or sell government bonds. And I'm going to show you again what their official answer is. Now, use a correctly labeled graph of the money market show how the Federal Reserve's actions you identified in Part C will affect the nominal interest rate. Okay, so what you've got to do is you've got to show the money supply line shifting to the left. Okay, and if you do everything right, like I've told you, you draw the lines, you'll notice that nominal interest rate goes up. Okay, and when you do that, we'll see in a minute if this is 1 or 2 points. Now, how will the interest rate change you identified in Part D affect aggregate demand in the short run? Okay, just remember, if interest rates go up, houses and boats and cars and jet skis and swimming pools all cost more. So aggregate demand is going to go down. And so I would answer aggregate demand will decrease. Now, it says explain. And remember, I would say if it was just me talking to somebody on the street, I would tell them what I just told you. But you're going to need to mention as interest rates go up, interest sensitive expenditures and capital investment go down. And again, I'll show you how they worded it. F. Now, here's the trickiest part on here. Assume that the Federal Reserve action is successful. What will happen to each of the following as the economy approaches a new long-run equilibrium? Now, here's where I think they're really tricky. And this business of expected inflation is really complicated in my opinion. Those of you who understand all this, well, you're a lot smarter than me, with me the first time. I would have thought that if aggregate demand is going down, that it would be a movement along the SRPC. But they're talking here about the economy adjusting to a new long run equilibrium. And I've told kids in the past, generally, as you get to the bottom of essay question number ones, that it seems that they get tougher. And so here's what's actually going to happen. The Fed is thinking that the economy is going to, the Fed wants to shrink the economy. It wants to contract it to get that inflation down. And businesses are going to know that because the Fed's going to come out and announce that. So the businesses are going to psychologically think, hey, they're going to be slowing the economy down. This is going to hurt us. And so they're either going to raise prices, which is what the Federal Reserve wants, or they're going to cut people, fire people, which I don't care what anybody says, that's what this action will lead to. And that is the Fed's actually, remember I told you to get rid of inflation, the best way is to run up unemployment. It just sickens me. But economics, I would not say the study of economics has any room for heart in there. Hopefully as individuals, we have a heart. So what's going to happen is they're going to cost a bunch of people their jobs, or people's pay is going to get cut, or they're going to get their hours cut. So anyway, that is going to be a shift to the left. And wait, let me get this straight here. On the ADSRAS, that means the SRAS is going to shift to the left, which remember is a lose-lose. So what does that do on the Phillips curve? Remember, they go opposite ways. The SRPC is going to shift to the left. Okay? Explain that. Oh man, I don't know how to explain that. You might write that as businesses begin. We'll see what they put. It's almost assuredly not going to be what I'm going to say. Hopefully, what I say would get you credit. As businesses expect the economy to slow, there will be a decrease in SRAS, shifting it to the left. Okay, we'll see how I did on that. And lastly, the natural rate of unemployment. As I've told you guys repeatedly, as far as I can tell, I've never seen an example. Goes back to that football player I had in class last year. I've told most of that story, how he asked me, does this ever change? As far as I can tell, the natural rate of unemployment never changes. Okay, got this video in under 10 minutes. So make sure you have drawn everything and written everything there. Let's see what they say. Okay, and I'm just going to show you the answers here. And I want you to check your answers. And remember, you're getting this for your final exam grade, but the real thing I'm doing, I want in the back of your mind, once you've taken all your other AP exams, that you realize that there are videos out there on YouTube that explain to you how to do this. And now this is a question number one. All three of these will be question ones. They think this year that the question, there's going to be a big question one and a small question two. And they think the new question two is going to be like the old ones. Okay, they think essay question one is going to be bank and balance with a bunch of other stuff thrown in. We'll see what happens. All right, here's the answers. And you'll notice here how they explained it. Oh, lower explain. Okay. All right. They didn't say it the way I did. But anyway, this is the first of your 3 videos. See you later.